meeting, and I'll take any questions you may have. And I will make this a YouTube video so that you guys can watch it tomorrow. Excuse me. But, yeah. So I'll wait a few minutes before starting. But, yeah. Nothing, like, crazy. Obviously, they're not going to, like, make any huge changes the 2 weeks before the exam, as AP week starts in 2 weeks. But and there's like just some like general things that we should be aware of to help prepare us for exam day, because this is very new for everyone. This has never been done before, etc., etc. I'll share this document with you guys too. The document is over 50 pages. So, I imagine that you guys are not going to read 50 pages. So, I'm going to I took screenshots of the important slides. I'm going to summarize them as much as I can. I'm just going to say, if you're watching this live, feel free to get the YouTube link later and pause so you can go over each slide after I'm done, like giving a little spiel about it. I would also say, if you're not watching it live and you're just watching it on YouTube, pause and take a minute to make sure you're understanding everything that's going on. So, in order to take the AP exam, you need an e-ticket. It will be emailed to you from College Board 2 days before each test. So, everyone in the room that's taking multiple AP exams, you will get multiple tickets to take those AP exams. Obviously, Physics C students, you're probably going to get both of those emails the day before. Physics 1 and 2 kids, your exams are kind of separated, but Physics C are always the same day. If you don't remember what email address you gave College Board to set up, or you're not getting College Board emails, don't worry about that. I will go over what you need to do about that later. And it says right here, you can always access it by going to myap.collegeboard.org. All right, so you need an e-ticket. Your exam for chemistry is Thursday, May 14th at 2 p.m. So if for some reason you still don't know that, then there it is. You can only get a makeup exam if something of significance occurs. But something that did come up that was interesting, if something happens before the exam, not necessarily like you're going to be out of town, but obviously let us know. But let's say you like break your hand or something, you fall, there's like an accident. Make sure you let me know. We got to let College Board know. We got to let our AP coordinator know, because we're going to have to do some coordination with how we're going to get you to take the test, especially since College Board is stating that chemistry and the math exams are the 3 most requested exams to do on paper and pencil. And all the other exams, including Physics C, they commented that today, including Physics C, tend to be more explanation-based, which is very odd to me. So, anyway, no one knows what this is going to look like. But chemistry, calculus, and statistics are 3 exams that paper and pencil seem to be the way to go, seem to be the way students want to go. And we're getting no kickback from College Board stating that, no, they should be fine without it. So, if something happens, you got to let us know. The June makeup day for chem is Tuesday, June 2nd at 4 p.m. You'll need to request a separate e-ticket for that June exam, and then it's the same deal. But again, it's only about significant conflicts. If you have a disruption during your May exam, Wi-Fi goes out, something happens, your computer crashes, your phone dies, whatever, you'll have to request an e-ticket. Because if you don't take, like, you have a conflict in May, so again, you have some circumstance that's been known for like months, like May 14th, you knew you weren't going to be there anyway. We would have known that by now, so this probably affects none of you. You'll automatically get a new ticket. Since that doesn't apply to anybody, If some unforeseen circumstance happens the day of May 14th, then we'll have to figure out how to get you a new e-ticket. And you'll have to make a request, and they'll have to grant that request. So again, don't just assume you can just take it again in June. That is not the case. They are highly recommending that you test in May, because if something actually happens in June, like an unforeseen circumstance, you're done. You're out. So your best bet is to just take it in May. In terms of scoring, I got questions about this. It won't be any more difficult to earn a 3, 4, or 5 this year. Obviously, how they're norming it, because it says they're not graded on a curve. We'll talk about what like the cutoff scores were last year and years prior. They norm it based on, they always ask questions each year that don't get counted against you. And that's how they help norm the exam. So it's not really about how well you do against everyone else. It's based on how well did you do on these questions that aren't counted against you. And then they can see, well, were the FRQs really easy this year? Because if everyone kills the FRQs but doesn't do well in those multiple choice questions, then maybe the multiple choice was harder than the FRQ. Point being is they use statistical analysis to determine 1, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. They're not going to make it any difficult. Conversely, they're not going to make it any easier to get a 3, 4, or 5 this year. Just for context, I went over all the exams from like 2014 onward, and on average, okay, for 2014 through 2018, on average, and this is how we helped score your midterm, the cutoff for a 5 was a 75 or higher, the cutoff for a 4 was a 60 or higher, and the cutoff for a 3 was a 42 or higher. Obviously, only 3s and above get credit. For context, this is why I want to emphasize that's an average. The 2019 cutoff, so last year, 82 or higher was a 5, 70 or higher was a 4, and 52 or higher was a 3. So about a 10-point difference. Now, we all know this exam's a lot different this year. I don't know what the cutoffs are going to be because it's only 2 FRQs. Typically, it's 50-50, 50% multiple choice, 50% free response. You're not getting that this year, so who knows? Obviously, make sure you're in a good testing environment. This is the only year we'll ever get your responses back, so you can always request a review and confirmation of your score if you thought you earned a 3 or higher. Like if you left that test feeling real confident, just let me know. It's rare, but their mistakes do happen. These are the 3 ways. So someone asked a question about this today, and I'm happy they talked about it tonight. The 3 ways you can upload a response. Copy and paste a typed response on your computer. Type a response in a document, a Word document, a Google document, notes, whatever, and then save it and attach it. Or take pictures on your phone and then attach those to the College Board, whatever. It's like, let's just say AP Classroom, because I don't know what the word for it is. It does seem they would prefer that if you're doing option 3, that you open up and access the exam on your phone. Because I don't know how easy it is going to be to take a picture on your phone, email it to your computer, and then attach it from your computer. I don't know if that's going to trigger a red flag that you were cheating. I don't know, but we'll take a look. These are the 3 options they recommend. If you choose option 1, obviously you can copy it. You can type your response in whatever you want, highlight the whole thing, copy it, and then paste it into the separate exam window. They recommend that you use Chrome, Firefox, I wanted to highlight, Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or Edge, not Internet Explorer. If you're using Internet Explorer, you don't deserve to access the internet. For me, honestly, if it's anything like AP Classroom, I have only gotten AP Classroom to work consistently on Google Chrome. And that seems to be the web browser they recommend the most. So I would go with Chrome. When you access the test, it will display both the test questions and the timer. If I remember them saying correctly, hopefully they'll confirm it later, there's nothing wrong with you submitting a response before the time is up. but I don't think you can move on to question 2, and you cannot move back to question 1. So question 1 is 25 minutes plus 5 minutes to upload. Question 2 is 15 minutes plus 5 minutes to upload. So keep these times in mind. They did confirm that if you began an upload of a document and for whatever reason your internet's really slow that day, obviously tell your siblings to get off Netflix, get everyone off the Wi-Fi network possible, to kick everyone off. Stress to your family that when you're taking this AP exam, it is important that very few to no devices are accessing the internet. Unplug Alexa, unplug Google Home, unplug everything that's accessing the internet except the device you're using. If you are experiencing low bandwidth, they did emphasize that as long as you attached and began the upload process, it will run in the background. We'll have to trust the system. Yeah, I'll send you the document, no worries. Option 2, attach a document, then click submit. These are the acceptable file formats: doc, docx, PDF, txt, and ODT. They do ask that you type your AP ID and initials at the top of each response. That is just for any unforeseen error on their end. All these responses are attached to your name, but who knows, something goes wrong, things get shuffled, whatever, that your question's getting graded for you and that it's attached to your name. Obviously, they will have a timer. They said you can have your own timer up and ready to go. I would do it separate from your computer. They said you can use a timer on your phone. You can use like a stopwatch. That's fine. And then option 3 is to attach photos of handwritten responses and then click submit. And again, this looks like they would prefer that you submit it from your device. They did not give you the option, and they've said this earlier, and I can try to ask them or something, but they did not discuss anything tonight about taking a picture on your phone, emailing it to your computer, and then attaching it. It seems that if you're going to do the paper and pencil method, you should log in from your phone and prepare to submit from your phone. These are the acceptable file formats. This is very important because I get a lot of submissions from phones in HEIC or other file formats other than JPG and JPEG. Make sure you are submitting in this format, or else you're in jeopardy of losing your work and your exam not getting scored. It also says please take a picture in vertical orientation and not landscape. So lay down the paper like this and then take a picture like this. Paper, vertical, picture, vertical. Okay, requesting a makeup exam. I'll just leave that here. I'm just going to stress that, again, this is only for people that have an unforeseen circumstance happen on test day. This is not there for people that are panicking. If you miss it in May and then something actually happens in June that is way out of your control, you're out of luck and you're not taking the AP exam this year. So again, it says here, it is only for students that encounter issues. There is no second, third, fourth makeup day. There is the one makeup day in June, and that's it. Testing with accommodations. Double check that you have them. I've asked students to do that multiple times. If you have not confirmed that by now, I cannot confirm that for you. Okay, first, make sure your technology works. What they will do on May 4th, I believe they said, is they will have a demo ready to go to make sure that you can do this correctly. So you'll be able to access their website, try the testing demo, and then work through the demo to make sure everything is good to go on whatever device you pick. You do not need the lockdown browser, so all that stress we went through in the middle of March is not going to be important. I apologize to the students. I forced that through, but they changed their policy on that. They said if you have the Grammarly plugin, you'll need to remove it. They did say that this has nothing to do with getting you to use correct grammar, though I imagine that would be an advantage for AP English exams. and it seemed that something about the plugin interferes with the system College Board has, which means there are probably other plugins that you may have on your computer that might interfere. So, do the testing demo to make sure that it works. If you don't do the demo, and on May 14th you start panicking because something's going wrong because you weren't diligent, then I'm not going to feel bad for you. Please test beforehand. Check your tech. Decide if you want to use like Google Docs, Microsoft Word, etc. Make sure it's in the approved formats we had earlier. Make sure you save it with an appropriate title so you can find it quickly and you can attach it normally, etc., etc. Handwriting. Use regular paper. Make sure it's legible. Student, you know who I'm talking to. Make sure the people can read it. Please do not fit all your work on the most minimal surface ever. Please also don't have your work scattered across the page. This is stuff that we practice at the beginning of the year, and then I force some of you to use a document I made because your work was so sloppy. Well, guess what? You're not going to have that, and I'm not going to provide it for you. So if you cannot write legibly and go line by line by line to show your work, I can't help you there. You're in high school. You should have learned that a while ago. Use a pen with blue or black ink or a number 2 pencil. 5 pages at the most. So, each question you have a maximum of 5. I can't imagine you will need 5 pages to answer any of these questions. However, you can use up to 5 pages for question 1. Make sure you number each page. So, it says prepare by writing your AP ID, your initials, and a page number at the top of each page. So, MG 44544, page 1. MG 44544, page 2. Make it easy on yourself. Just use different pages. Don't use the back of one page. Who knows when you take the picture, it might bleed through if you're using pen that bleeds through, etc. Be smart. Use the 2020 AP exam demo. That'll be available on May 4th. You can access it on cb.org/AP demo. I highly recommend you do it just to make sure that like your device works. Make sure that you know what it's going to look like on exam day. Make sure that when May 14th rolls around, or if you have an exam earlier, there's no surprises. This is everything you need. I'm going to say pause it right here and read that over. Optional resources. They did state that if you plan on using the internet, that's bad for 2 reasons, and I will side with them for the first reason entirely. Reason 1, it's going to waste your time. If you're going to sit here and Google everything, Google this, Google that, you're going to just waste your time, and you're not going to be well suited. We're going to do some practice at the end of this week and next week going into what you should have on you, but I would recommend right now the AP reference table, the Regents reference table, so the long one, so if you need to look up solubility rules or you need to look up table E and charges, etc., etc., and then no more than like a page or 2 back and front for everything, or else you have too much, you're going to waste time, and it's just not going to help. I would also maybe just have that page ready with all the shape names and the bond angles. That's easy to print. So, you can have any of these. Again, feel free to pause and read this when you're watching it later. If you start using the internet and they deem that you cheated, that's on you. They already said they found someone attempting to cheat on AP Physics. I don't know, AP Physics 1, AP Physics 2, something like that. Probably just went on Reddit and said, hey, let's post all the answers here. And his exam got canceled. I'm going to say pause here. You can read over this. Again, look for your exam confirmation and e-ticket emails. If you don't know what email to use, go to ap.collegeboard.org and you can figure it out. On exam day, up to 30 minutes before, you can check in, complete the identity information, and wait. You have 25 minutes to read and answer question 1, 5 minutes to upload, and then you'll wait for question 2. This was confirmed as a mistake. 15 minutes to read and answer question 2. That's not popping up. 15. There we go. That was weird. 15 minutes to read and answer question 2, and then 5 minutes to submit it, and then you're basically done. Managing your time, they'll have a timer for you. Time left to submit work, whatever. This is important, and this is what all of you need to realize regardless of what AP exam you're taking. You can earn a 5 and not answer every question. Now, it's more in your favor if you're aiming for a 5 to answer as many questions as possible. But you heard me go over the cutoff scores before. 82 or higher last year was a 5, 75 or higher on average. That means you can leave a couple, like if you don't finish the whole thing, if you know that like question B is really hard, but question G was like, what's this bond angle? And you always get those right. And we've been talking about this the whole year. Some of you don't listen and you're like, I can't do it. Like you got to grow up past it at some point. If B is too hard and you're wasting 10 minutes on B and it's a 9-part question, you're definitely not going to get a 5. You probably won't even get a 4. Skip around. If you don't get to a part, that's okay. Better work is better than trying to do all the work. You want quality over quantity here. Now again, if it's a 9-part question and you can only confidently answer 2 questions, then a 5 probably wasn't on your radar to begin with. However, you can earn a 5 even if you don't finish a response. That's okay. The timer turns red when you have 5 minutes left. I would use their timer just because that's 100% accurate. And then you don't have to wait for their timer to start, and then you start your timer, and then they're off. I think that'll just throw you off a little bit. Again, they'll set the standards for 3, 4, or 5s. They're not going to make it any difficult or any easier, stuff like that. Submitting your response. Nothing too crazy here. You can pause if you'd like. This is what it'll look like. Okay. And they did, again, confirm as soon as you hit submit, it'll run in the background, even if you have low bandwidth. If you actually close the browser or your device crashes, you can click that e-ticket again and go to the exam. Please do not start calling your parents and texting me. Definitely don't text me on exam day. Don't text me on exam day. You don't want to be in trouble if you get caught. Yeah, I'll probably be in trouble. Don't panic. Click your e-ticket, and then you'll be right back in there. Okay? Don't refresh your browser. Don't hit the back arrow. Don't call customer service. Due to the pandemic, I don't think they're open anyway. So, just again, pause, take time to read over this. Check your tech. Went over that before. When that demo is out, make sure everything's up to date and ready to go. And that's it. So, send me some questions on Remind. I'll send out the document. I'll send out this video. Let me know if you have a question on Remind about this. Let me know if you have a question on Remind about chemistry. I sent a lot of feedback to you guys today. Hopefully you read them. Most of you don't even get back to me with a clarifying question. But let me know if you have any questions. I'll do my best to answer. And if not, I'll see you later. Ooh, questions. Any questions? Questions going once, twice, Alrighty, I'll send this video out to you guys probably tomorrow. It'll take a few minutes to get to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you later.